Well, hello and welcome back. This is our third episode in this series of getting your ham shack computer ham radio ready on Linux. And we are working on Fedora34 here. So I wanted to go back and show our computer actually running with all the software that we installed the last time. I have restored my configurations, and I'm showing you the screen in a little bit higher resolution, so you can kind of see that yes, yes, WSJTX works fine. And as you can see, 20 meters is quite busy right now. I'm about 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in Mountain Time in Montana. So yeah, a lot of activity on the bands. Um, I got the CQR log loaded up from my previous backup, so we can actually go in and show all the QSOs and stuff like that I have in here. A lot of my last big QSOs have been on 6 meters, so yeah, everything there is working as expected. Um, and yeah, I have had no problems at all backing restoring that stuff up. A couple of items that we can kind of go over, and I'm hoping that this comes out. I will probably look at this later to see if this is too tiny, and I might just zoom it back in just so we can kind of do some more configuring stuff. But it's hard to find the OK button on the tinier screen size. So anyway, so I have a full backup of my old computer that I brought over. So it's sitting right here. So my home directory had all the stuff in it, and if you hit Control H while you're using the file browser, you'll notice that like this is what you would normally see when you go in here. Your normal folders, desktop, documents, downloads, and whatnot. But if you hit Control H, you can actually see the hidden files. And that's where you'll find all the backup stuff that your computer and the applications make. So like here you can see FLRig, FLDigi, FLTK, all that stuff's in there. TQSL is right here. This is where your certificate and everything else is saved, locations, whatnot. Some stuff is saved in local share. This is where I have the WSJTX and JS8 call settings and stuff like that. So all I did was copy all that stuff back and basically just started the logger program, started FLRig. I did have to go into FLRig and configure the transceiver because obviously the ports might be different addressability here on this particular system. And yeah, so I have the SCU17, and it provides two different USB serial devices that can be seen. The first one is the actual rig control, and then the second one is basically the PTT control. So you set up both of those. Here I have the first one, and the generic. Here's the second one, and I flagged the SCU17 there as well in PTT with CAT. So everything works fine. Click the init button, and you're off to the races on FLRig. FLRig, of course, if you go into, let's see here. If we go into the rig settings on like WSJTX and stuff like that, let's just go into configurations here, file settings. I guess I'm going to have to click something here to make that go away. The unfortunate part about clicking things. Yeah, no. Let's click that down. Anyway. Yeah, so here's the settings on WSJTX. As you can see for the radio, I have it set up as the rig is FLRig and FLRig. So it uses FLRig for that. Same thing for CQR log. If I use that manually, it uses FLRig. And any other application that I set up, I would set up for FLRig as well. Audio, of course, is passed over by the audio devices. The ALSA has two ALSA devices. Now, Fedora34 is a pipewire system, so it has shims for all the other audio stuff, especially like Pulse audio server, Jack, and ALSA, and so everything kind of sort of goes through pipewire, but it also exposes all the layers that you're used to seeing. So when you go into the list, you'll probably see a lot more devices in there than you're used to seeing. But don't be afraid. If you've set it up before, it's going to look just the same. But you'll set your audio settings, and yeah, as soon as you do that, you should start seeing traces on your if you got your rig plugged in and everything's working. Let's go ahead and show. Let's go show the rig just to show that we're not cheating any. So there's the rig right down here in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, and we'll just go ahead and change bands. Go to 30 meters, so you can see the rig changed right away. You can click the tune button, and there we go. We tuned up, and we can see we're starting to get some traces in on 30 meters here. Not a lot, but there are some activities. So yeah, here's as you can see, I have the VFO-A is right here. The rig is on VFO-A as well. You can flip this around, manually with the FL rig. So let's go ahead and kill WSJTX because it likes to take over when I start messing with things. So let's just test the rig control, make sure everything works fine. So there's the B. So we switched over to B, and you can see the rig switched over to B as well. Let's go ahead and we'll make that a little bit bigger so you can see that. Let's see here. Let me grab the right cam. There we go. Whoa, there we go. Make that big. So yeah, we have the you can change any of the settings here, and it's gonna reflect instantly. So right now we're putting out 5 watts. We can go up to change the power as much as you want. Let's do noise reduction is not turned on right now. You can actually see right there on where it says DNR. I don't know if you're familiar with the FT450, but that third little line down. Let's see. I don't have a pointer stick. Here, I'll use an antenna because I'm a ham radio guy. So right there where it says DNR, you'll see the digital noise reduction. And, of course, it's set at 6 right now. So if we move this value around while it's enabled, you'll see that also change on the display. So it does kind of give you all those nice advanced features. If your rig has them, it has all the ability to do that. I haven't customized this besides just basically connecting the rig. So you don't really have to mess with it that much. That's why I kind of like FL Rig, because it sort of stands on its own. It gives you a UI and everything else. You can also use G-Rig with HamLib in order to connect your rig. But I found pretty good success with just using FL Rig right out of the box. It seems to work pretty well. If you go into, let's get rid of the video. Bye-bye, rig. I know you like staying up there. So if we go into CQR log, we can actually go in here and see the, so sorry. I think I had it still in remote mode. Okay, so if you go into preferences here, this is where you set up all the stuff, and we did a video. I believe we did a video on this. If not, we did a deep dive on getting this set up. So I don't think we need to go through it in this video, but as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Kind of follow the order of stuff here. So you can see here the same thing. My FT450D is set up as FL Rig, so it knows it's using that here for the transceiver control. Any settings, profiles, this is all set up to match with my trusted QSL or logbook of the world. You can adjust fonts if you want the application to look different. I just use the default settings generally. I don't go in here very often to mess around with stuff. I do have a CW interface, but I don't think I have it on my desk. I must have put that away the last time I put the station together because I was using it for something else. So yeah, I don't have a CW interface. I do have a WinKey box and a paddle and a couple paddles actually, and I don't have it here to show you, but you can easily set up a WinKey setup. I mean, obviously, look right here, WinKey or USB. How hard is that, right? You just tell it where it's at, and they work just fine. FLDigi and WSJTX. Again, if you want to run them remote out of here, this is how you run them remotely. And actually, you can see I did set up multicasting on WSJTX there, and I don't think that converted over to WSJTX in the application. So I'm gonna actually go and fix that. Oh, let's see what else. Anything else here? You know, the call book stuff. Yeah, I've been using CQR log for so long that I just keep the backup, and I always restore it on every computer. And it's worked quite well. It's worked quite well with doing that. So let's go in here to the configuration. Let's go to settings. And where is that at? It's got to be up right there. And boom. Woo. Whoopsie. Oops. 224001. I believe. Oh, it did open up some different settings there. Let's take a look at that one more time. I haven't messed with this in a while. Okay, so outgoing interfaces. I only have one. No problem. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. And that looks good. So then we'll just hit OK. And then we'll just go ahead and let's just exit out of here one more time. And then we'll bring this back up. Just make sure everything works. That's probably why it still thought it was in remote mode. And it's quite possible it just reset something. Settings. Let's just make sure everything looks good. Blah, blah, blah. Radio. Yep. All good. Everything's good. Everything's good. Sweet. Okay. So, yeah. So let's get back to 20 meters here. So anyway, if you were to set up the software, you go through each of the configuration points, starting with the rig control. Select your rig. There are a lot of rigs that are supported. If we go into the transceiver, you can see the drop down is complete with a lot of rigs, including a bunch of new ones. And once in a while, you'll have to go out and find a file, but I haven't had to do that. The nice part about using Fedora is that most of the stuff is pretty current. So you're not going to be dealing with an archaic version of something unless it's not really maintained anymore. At that point, you should probably choose a different product to use. But yeah, that actually worked out really well. So let's try one of the applications we didn't set up. And I'm pretty certain maybe FLDigi is already set up. We'll see if it just comes up. All right, so yeah, FLDigi just came up, and it already knows who I am, and it knows it's using the FD450D. I didn't do anything except for copy my folder over, so it's probably already working. But let's just go ahead and configure anyway, just to make sure that I'm almost thinking the audio side of stuff needs to be looked at. And FLDigi is, again, pretty easy. Oh yeah, see, it lost it. So yeah, USB audio codec, that looks good. USB audio codec, that looks good. Let's see if that's going to work right. Close. And let's see here. All right, we definitely have some noise, but I'm not seeing anything down here. Oh, well, I'm seeing signal, right? So let's just take a quick gander. Test 1, 2. Okay, yeah. So I'm starting to see a trace right there. Obviously, the sensitivity is not up very high on this particular setting right now. Plus, we're in CW mode. But let's see if we can just change some settings here. We'll just go to USB. And, oh, there we go. USB. Let's go down to CW. Let's see if we can find some CW to decode here. Let's we'll turn up the sound a little bit. Bring up the radio. I'll bring up the radio, and then let's just get that back here so we can see everything. And let's tune down the band a little bit. I'm sure we can find somebody running some CW here. Oop. I'll use the fine tuner. Of course, my my buttons aren't working. Let's see here. Let's open up the filter a little bit. I think I got the filter set very very narrow. And just going to restart the rig because it was not letting me control it for some reason. Config. Oh, geez. Bum, bum, bum. Whoa. Config. File. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Yes, now I can actually tune it. So my rig must have been in a really weird state. Okay. Not a really strong signal. Let's go a bit fast. Oh. There we go. So we were decoding some CW. Hey, that's another bill on there. San Diego. Looks like we got a little California station running some CW here. So yeah, these are some of the free applications that are out there. Obviously available for many systems, not just Linux. It's available for Windows and Mac OS and whatnot, but using it on Linux is so much better because you're using, free and open source software for your operating system. So everything you're doing is right there at your fingertips.